Hey gang, John Bacarella here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is Thursday, August 26th, and it is hot. It is crazy hot, and it's been crazy hot now for a couple of weeks out there. That water temperature just keeps going up. It is up, getting close to record highs right now, over 78 degrees when I just checked, and that's going to be at the peak temp of the day, but still 78 degrees, man. And it's probably going to go up another degree or two and we're not supposed to get a break in this heat until like Monday. So we got 90 degrees coming Saturday and Sunday around here, and we may get some thunderstorms mixed in there, but man, it is just hot. And with all that heat, there's been a lot less activity out on the lake. Now, last weekend we had that Bass Pro Shops event out there for bass fishing tournament, a really big one actually, with a couple of hundred boats. And there were some great weights, but there wasn't any tremendous weights. There was just a lot of 20-pound bags, between 20 and 22 pounds. So it's not as much as what this lake is normally known for. And normally this time of the year you can see some 24, 25, 26-pound bags out there, and we did not see that, but still we saw a lot of big bags. So I mean, 20-pound bags of smallies is that's not a small bag of fish. So there was a lot of fish being caught out there, just not the huge weights that we sometimes see at this time of the year. Now with that said, the fish were really there were fish caught all over the place. There was a lot of fish caught up in that Anchor Bay area. Probably the largest concentration of big smallies came up out of that Anchor Bay area, like we were talking about in the last reports, probably because we're a couple of degrees cooler up there. It's definitely not the deepest water in the lake. I mean, you're looking at maybe 12 to 14 feet of water where a lot of these fish were caught up there in the bay proper, and then there were fish caught up in the channels as well on those weed lines. That's deeper water generally, but that bay itself isn't all that deep, but it is getting that fresh flow of water coming out of Lake Huron, so it is going to be generally a little bit cooler than the rest of the lake. Now, there was some fish caught out there by the weather buoy too, in the Canadian side of the lake, and then there was a lot of fish caught down off of that Metro Beach area out there in those normal smallie areas. But one pattern, after talking with a lot of guys this week, that's really kind of made itself visible is that these fish are really feeding on schools of roaming bait fish, and the smallies are moving. So you're on those fish, you get a few, and then you got to move. And a lot of the guys using that live imaging technology are able to track these pods of fish down, pull a couple of fish out of those pods before they move on. Then you get on that trolling motor and you move along until you can get on another pod of fish. So that's been pretty much all over the lake. That's been the pattern, even for the fish that I did hear that were caught shallow this last weekend and during the week. They're here for a few minutes and then they're gone. And they're not big schools of fish, they're just pods, and they're definitely feeding on bait fish. So, and you'll see surface activity out there in some cases. You may even see some birds, but the fish are feeding up on these bait fish. They're getting pushed up to the surface. So that's the smallmouth bite out there. And like I said, we're not going to see a change immediately until we get a weather break. Maybe if we get a north wind coming in on this next cold front next week, things will change around. But that's the smallie bite right now. Perch fishing, I did get a good report of some good schools of fish out between 11 Mile and the Memorial Park area, out by those sailboat markers out there in about 14 feet of water on those weed beds out there. So if you're looking for perch on the American side, that might not be a bad place to check out. And normally this time of the year too, over by that B buoy over in Anchor Bay, it'll hold some fish at this time as well, even with the warmer temperatures. I mean, the fish can tolerate it. It's not like 78-degree water is going to start. You're not going to start having a fish die off or anything. It's just about bait fish and cover. So if you find those minnows, those shiners and stuff out there, you're gonna find those perch and a lot of other species. Not a lot of guys fishing for walleyes right now, but what I am hearing still, like I said last week, the deeper holes, even up in the St. Clair River, guys jigging in 60 feet of water in some of those real deep holes up there in the North Channel. There's a lot of fish stacked into those holes. And then at night, I'm hearing about guys catching them along the boardwalk, right up tight. I mean, some of those fish are up really high feeding on bait fish, so lighten up your jigs, and rather than casting out with those deep jig heads going down real deep at night, try fishing right on the seawall up high with your soft plastics. Give that a try, and you may have success doing that up there for the walleyes as well. But deep water in the rivers, probably deep water down there in the St. Clair River, in the Detroit River as well, sorry. Nightcrawler harnesses too, getting pulled down in those deeper holes, especially on the Detroit River, not be a bad bet. And you're always going to have those big roaming schools out there, just like the perch and the smallies, where you're finding those bait fish. You're going to find walleyes out there as well. And I've not heard about a lot of guys fishing over on the Canadian side for walleyes yet. But if you look at that satellite imagery, you are going to see that there's a pretty good algae bloom going on over there. We get these big thunderstorms rolling in, and you get these heavy rains, and they turn those pumps on, and I've talked about it before, and you get the combination of all that fertilizer and the super warm weather, super warm temps out there. You're going to get those pea green, you know, pea soup green algae blooms going, and that's very evident on the aerial photos of the lake. And then down there in Erie too, the same things, and that's not uncommon at this time of the year. So you know, and the guys that I did talk to that were over there, especially for the bass tournament, that once they got into that green water, the fishing just went, you know, it just tanked. So they had to get out of that water, and then they got into some good fish. So that green water was definitely not holding fish. So muskie fishing, Canadian guys going over to Canada are still doing really good on the skis. The hot weather obviously doesn't help situation at all. It definitely makes it tougher on these guys releasing those fish. So it takes a lot more energy to, you know, to live release these fish. But they're definitely getting some really nice fish over on that Canadian side. And as we get later into the season, it'll pick up here on the American side too. We did get some of those new Daiwa PRX casting reels in for you muskie guys, and we just got a new restock of the Muskie Innovation soft plastics, so those are in stock now at the store as well for this weekend. That's about all I've got. It's gonna cool off hopefully next week, and maybe more guys will get out, and I'll get more stuff popping up on my Facebook page other than body armor and red dot scopes, because that's all that seems to be showing up on my page these days. Go figure, right? But anyways, we'll see you next time. We'll see you in at the store this weekend. Hey, if you like this video content and you want to get updated as soon as the next video is out there, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, and you'll get notified as soon as the next video is up.